Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, we're getting the first, and this is not an official number, so don't get mad at me or say, well, this is not an official number. We're getting the first estimated numbers of the pay-per-view buys for Ward Kovalev. I got this from Kevin Ioli, the Yahoo boxing writer, very prominent writer. Got this from his Twitter, so I'll leave it in the description for you guys so you can see the tweet for yourself. But here's what Kevin Ioli said in regards to the pay-per-view numbers between Ward and Kovalev. He said, I quote in the tweet, I quote, "Hearing that Kovalev Ward pay-per-view numbers are going to come in the low 160,000s." Now, that is not very, very good, because when you look at this fight, when you look at how it was built up, you had, and keep in mind, this fight, there were numerous commercials that were ran. I know that they ran a lot more for Top Rank and Rock Nation or whoever. They put a lot of money into running commercials, because I know people who I have friends who don't even watch boxing, who didn't buy the pay-per-view, that knew about this fight. So you had the numerous commercials. You had Andre Ward going on TNT during the Warriors Oklahoma City Thunder game, in the middle of the game. You had that. You had just a numerous amount of different ways of promoting the fight. You know, even people in the boxing media were making so many videos just to promote this fight, myself included. And the fight, from what we're getting, didn't even crack 200,000 views, pay-per-view buys. That's very, very bad, and it really speaks to the climate that we're at as far as the pay-per-view boxing market. Honestly, it's dead. Honestly, to be honest, because when you have a guy like Ward, a guy like Kovalev, they should do more numbers than that, but it just didn't, because number one, this speaks to the fact that, and this isn't just Ward, this is also Kovalev. Neither one of these guys has ever proven themselves to be major draws on their own. They've been draws with other people fighting other big names, but they've never been draws on their own. Ward, when he fought the likes of Alexander Brand and Sullivan Barrera, his tickets were on Groupon and were 50% off. When Kovalev fought Najee Mohammadi, he was only selling 2,000 tickets himself. So neither one of these guys had that proven track record of being draws on their own. Now the thought would be, if you take two guys and make it a fight of this magnitude, people are going to come out and buy the fight, and judging by these numbers, just a lot of people didn't buy it. I honestly thought that the numbers we would get would probably be like 350 to 400,000. That seemed like a realistic number, but it looks like it fell way short of that. And this does have a huge impact on a potential rematch, because boxing is a business first, guys. And if the first fight didn't do a whole lot of good numbers, right? The first fight didn't do very well. There was a controversial decision that a lot of people, I would say the majority of people out there, believe that Kovalev won that fight. And people are pissed off about that. So are people going to be willing to shell out another $55 or $65 if you're buying an HD to watch a fight that might be very competitive again, but could wind up being another robbery? I don't know. And it's going to have, you can't expect it to do 160,000 again. If this fight happens again, you're looking at maybe under 100,000. You're looking at that kind of number. So I think there are a lot of factors that go into a rematch. There's obviously, now that Ward has a champion, now that Ward is, the champion, even though I highly disagree with this decision, I think it's a terrible robbery. The fact of the matter is, he's a champion, so when they do go to the table to negotiate, he will have more of the power, although he did do quite well for himself this fight. So with that being said, there's the low pay-per-view numbers, there's the willingness of other promoters to invest money into that kind of fight again. You got to figure, because in this fight, Andre Ward had $5 million guaranteed off the top, and the fight only did 160,000 pay-per-view buys. So if you look at it, right, the $65 was the HD version for this fight. $55 was in standard definition. So you figure if there's 160,000 pay-per-view buys and you multiply that, you're looking at around anywhere from $9 to $10 million. So Ward's getting 5 of that off the top. Kovalev's getting 2 plus pay-per-view revenue, but from the pay-per-view revenue, HBO is going to take like 50%, and then the other 7% will go to the cable, or something like that. Oh no, my bad. 50% goes to the cable providers, and then 7.5% goes to HBO. So Kovalev is going to be left with like 43% of that. So you would expect Kovalev to have generated. It's not what I'm trying to get at. I know I'm rambling, but what I'm trying to say is the rematch doesn't make a whole lot of business sense. It makes a lot of boxing sense, but it doesn't make a lot of business sense. So, being that both these guys aren't big draws, the first pay-per-view didn't do very well, and on top of that, it was a very controversial result, and the undercard was terrible. You had the Maurice Hooker fight with Perez, robbery. You had the Chalemba versus the other guy, the Russian guy's name I can't pronounce. That fight underwhelmed. A lot of people thought that fight would have been better. And you had Curtis Stevens versus De La Rosa. That fight didn't deliver as far as fireworks, and De La Rosa, in the eyes of some, got robbed as well. So when we look at that fight, you're looking at probably 2 to 3 robberies on that card. The highlight of that card, as far as action goes, the most entertaining fight from start to finish was probably the Clarissa Shields fight, to be honest with you guys. And that was on the free viewing that you could have streamed on YouTube. So, with that being said, boxing's in a very bad place, and I think HBO and these promoters need to be more selective of what fights they put on pay-per-view. If this fight had been on regular HBO, I have no doubt in my mind it would have done a lot better numbers. But because you put it on closed circuit television with pay-per-view restrictions on it, it didn't do that well. So it is what it is. But that's what we're hearing from Kevin Iole. I'm not sure that's the official number yet, but Kevin Iole is a pretty reliable source when it comes to this stuff, and that's what he's reporting right now. So 160,000 pay-per-view buys is what's being reported. Let me know what you guys think. Does this affect the rematch possibly? And just give me your overall take on this. Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dean. So until next time, take care, guys.